Don't see me. I'm behind the kid. No, when I'm fucked.
Yeah. Okay.
Power.
No. Okay, I'm gonna do the intro.
Oh. The neons. What do I do?
Let me.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not even in this, am I? There's a lot of bugs. Fuck you!
I just did it all in slop. Did it all background.
Yeah, it comes to the van. Don't see me. I'm behind the kid.
Right.
No, when I'm fucked.
That's... Wow. Okay, I'm gonna start.
Power.
Eyes up. Make sure I have my jokes up. Stop just crashed. Uh-oh.
Be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bits and Pieces podcast, episode 3. How are we doing, everyone? How you going, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
Another episode.
Another episode, another week. Exactly. Yeah. Right. How's it been? How was your weekend? Did you enjoy the Halloween weekend?
Yes, very spooky.
It was very spooky.
Nice. Very good.
I wish I had a better Halloween weekend. I had a rather eventful weekend. Unfortunately, I didn't get to enjoy the festivities this year. But yeah, leading up to that, it was great. Had a good Friday. But no trick or treaters though. Everyone sort of just vanished. I think.
I think people just been a bit more cautious now. They're not trick or treating as much as they used to. They're not.
Yeah,
banging on the door. All right. I don't see. We don't do.
Right.
We as a nation, we don't do trick or treating, do we? We don't really do like Halloween that well. It's more of an American thing, but we are trying, and it's like you could tell that people are trying. They go around, they get something from the shop, and they're like,
Yeah.
"I've got a plastic mask. Yeah, I'm trick or treating," and then they go trick or treat. You go, right. So if you say trick, they've got nothing ready for you. They're not ready for it. They're like,
Yes. Can I have a trick, please?
Can I have a treat? And they
don't want a treat.
And it's why is it with like, I don't know, spotty teenagers who think they can get away with it wearing a plastic mask and going, I want money. No, it's candy. Get with the program. What's the matter? Yeah. No, but I kind of enjoy it. I don't know if you noticed, but I did kind of wear a bit of makeup that week.
Yeah, I did. I dressed up. It was fun. Kind of.
I saw yours. Yeah, I saw yours.
I couldn't breathe.
You couldn't breathe.
One of them. You didn't see the other two.
I missed it. I know. Unfortunately, I missed your first one.
I saw the one where you had a pillowcase on your head with sunglasses. And I was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I was confused. And then you had the Joker type makeup on.
Just to tell you, that was toilet paper.
Really? Oh, right. Okay.
I was pretending to be the Invisible Man, but it didn't work.
Oh, right. I get you now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You're not a toilet paper monster.
Yeah, toilet paper. That's the new tradition.
Oh dear, right.
If it was actually toilet paper, you wouldn't actually have it.
It was vanilla scented.
Be
So
a sign saying out.
Is it your fault that we all went panic buying because you just bought it all?
Yeah. I just put it over my face.
Just put everywhere.
That's where it's gone.
That's where
I
it's
have
gone.
it.
It's all your fault.
I have it all.
Set it on the corner in the trench coat. It was a toilet paper. £2 a roll.
£5 a roll.
What, 5?
Yeah.
Inflation.
You don't want it. Yeah.
Oh dear. No, that was good. It was a good weekend. It was good. I had fun. I'm glad
Yes.
everyone else, anyone who came by, I know I did quite a lot of Phasmo actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of games, was like what do you think of the new maps? Like now, because we spoke about it before last week, we spoke about it. I think it's probably a good time to mention. Like, what do you think of the new map? What do you think of how they've taken the road now? The new nightmare mode that we mentioned last week.
Well, I just quickly go. The new map, it's okay. People have been saying it's very laggy.
Yeah.
Which I haven't experienced too much of, but it's difficult to find the ghost. I think just yeah, it's a little difficult. But I will say nightmare mode is crazy stuff. It's harder, much harder as well. But it's fun with friends to just mess around and stuff. So
Yeah.
It is
I
good,
mean,
yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
go Freddie.
That's just sorry. No, sorry, mate. It is really enjoyable with friends. I think friends make games 10 times better than any multiplayer game, no matter how bad it is. But I do agree with Beth. It does need some optimization. I think we touched on this when we was playing it as well. I had some serious hard stutters, frame drops, and we also discovered that the ghost just likes to hide. Just doesn't want to play. Just sits in the hut down the road. And
Yeah,
just
there's
things.
that heart that
That happened quite a few times. Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with Beth. The ghost is either really hard to find or it's killing you instantly, especially on nightmare mode. That to me personally, I think that's way beyond my skill level. I just like to have a laugh. I mean, that's the hardcore run in, get stuff, get out players. I mean, that's me. It's run in and die and then cry about it.
I mean,
yeah.
I personally, I do like it, but yeah, again, it must come back to that. What we've already picked up on is the difficulty level. It has peaked massively. It's either going to be too difficult or too easy, and it's like there's never an in between. Yes, you can go lower, but then I don't. There's not much reward if you go lower. So you want to go higher to get that reward, but then you realise it's actually you're not getting anywhere. I think I've the amount of times I've died now playing this compared to like previously. Then that goes to show the level of how difficult it is. It's like that,
Yeah.
how it's set now. How do how else do you balance it? If you make it too easy, the professionals complain. If you make it too difficult, the casual players complain.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to you have to look at your spectrum of audience. How many casual players do you have?
Yeah,
And average players do you have versus the hardcore nut jobs that literally live and breathe it and eat it night and day, week, and have it tattooed to their forehead. The ones that are literally super fanboys, fangirls of it all.
Yeah.
I think these days companies tend to cater to those type of fans rather than like the average Joe and the casual players that don't play it very often, because usually the hardcore players are the ones that stream it, make content on it all the time, talk about it all the time. So they're gonna lean a little bit more in favour of their opinion
Yeah.
than the
Yeah.
average
100%.
Joe. So
100%.
in our situation, we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't.
Yeah.
Because we have to take it as it comes. I mean, we can say that's too difficult, that's too easy, but then as soon as someone with a bit more influence comes along and says, no, that's wrong, that's too easy, that's too hard, our opinion goes out the window. So it's generally down to the developers and the hardcore fan feedback as what type of game we have.
Yeah. It's always going to be the case, isn't it? If the like you said, the influence, the bigger influence, they're the ones that are bringing in the money, so they're the ones that have the most say. And unfortunately, that does mean that us mere mortals.
I mean, we play it a lot.
Oh
but
yeah.
We're not
do.
hardcore. Like
No.
it's.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say Funny Bits Boys a little bit more hardcore than the both of us.
Yeah.
level
100%.
15 million.
Yeah. Sort of
50 million level.
I mean, I'm almost on like
2000, I bet.
quadruple numbers, No, it's yeah. I do. I have put a lot of time into it. So I probably do have a little bit more experience, but that doesn't mean to say it's less It's less scary because no, it isn't. I still enjoy the jump scares. I still enjoy being chased, and I got chased quite a lot, especially this weekend. I was playing it with Maestro Wolfie, who came in. We all know him, but the only one who doesn't is one of our friends that we play with quite a lot. I think he's one of my mods. So he came into my stream. So he came in. We had a couple of games of that, and it was a time when I did it as it. So if anyone who hasn't seen it, we'll try and post that up at some point. I did Pennywise the weekend, and it was the best fun. The best fun we ever had was the fact when we got to the last ever map, and we decided to do what I was going to go just before midnight. It was like, no, stick around because it's 12 minutes to midnight. Let's do one more map. So we did one more map, and yes, there was. The last one was George. I'm like, yeah, Georgie. I was like, yay. Nice. So I was happy for that. But up until that point, I think we're pretty much like, I think he died more than I did, but I was dying as well. Like, again, I'm relearning the game now, even though I'm a slightly more higher level than most of you guys. Yeah. Again, I still have the fun of playing it, and that's why I've come back to it. It's been optimized a little bit better. There is some issues that I struggle with. It's having a potato of a PC. I think we discussed that it wasn't necessarily the PC, but it's just how the game's been optimized, hasn't it? So I did actually look at a video on YouTube, and it was like, where else do you go than YouTube to look for videos, to look for hints and tips? And I've actually updated my NVIDIA graphics, so I've tried looking at that as well. So hopefully the next time I do play it, it's going to be a little bit more smoother for me, because I was frame rate, like, I think it was just the game frame rates and stuff like that.
I remember.
But you saying it was the refresh having to, the computer having to refresh or whatever it was. But I really enjoyed the weekend. I really enjoyed playing Phasmo. Again, I'm coming back to it. And I know, like, playing with you guys, like you said, playing with friends is much more fun than playing alone. But, with those new maps, and there's four new ghosts that we mentioned last week. I have I've still not fully understood those ones. I got kind of used to, like, the old ghosts. There was only, I think 12 ghosts previously. Now we're on sort of like 20.
The scariest thing is that we could end up with double that figures by the time the game launches.
I mean, I don't mind them introducing new ghosts, but they've got to fix what they still need to fix as well.
The difficulties that they've implemented now, they need to let that settle and let people get used to that.
Yes.
If they start then adding another difficulty like Nightmare Plus or something stupid, then they're gonna lose a few players, because it's gonna we feel like we're gonna have to play on that level to actually get rewards, because they add more difficulty levels, the rewards go down on the lower tiers. So you're gonna have to do the higher ones to cope with the loss of money from dying all the time. So you're going to have to do, because if you do amateur or intermediate, you don't earn enough credits to pay for those losses. So it's a difficult situation to balance that difficulty. But as the development team need to look at that and keep it so we can get used to it and provide quality feedback. And as Steve says, he's an experienced player, so his opinion is much more valuable, which means that I was going to ask you a question, Steve, is what is it like playing single player Phasmophobia? Because I don't play single player Phasmophobia, and I think Beth does sometimes. What would you say the experience is?
Well, okay, so the experience is obviously the maps will take longer to get to. I have been lucky in the past to actually go into Asylum, and I've done that alone. And this is before any of the updates as well. So I've not been to any of the larger maps. Of course, the largest map being Asylum. But I was like I was going to say was that when I've managed to go into Asylum, and as soon as you enter the room, I found the smallest room that you could find right near the start. And it basically became a speed run. I ticked off everything, all the objectives. You are very lucky, very, very lucky to get that as a solo player. But without that, doing Asylum is just no fun at all because you're having to make return trips. There is means and ways of doing it. You can, because of the clipping that the game has. Like, when I mean by clipping, if anyone doesn't know, if you throw an object through a wall and it clips, it looks like it's disappearing beyond the wall, but it's just going like past the door. So you can actually clip things through the doors and set up and have all your items at the start, so you don't have to keep going backwards and forwards so much. There is that. That's the only way you can do it. The not having someone with you, not necessarily, like, I suppose, for support, moral support more than anything. Not having that with you, that intensifies the experience even more, because you're not being able to bounce. Like, where we can bounce off people, we can have a bit of fun with the ghost name. You know, if it's a Michael Jackson, which it has come up a few times. You'll laugh and joke about it. You'll make jokes like you just did there. You make the sounds. We got obviously we did it once there's a couple of us before. You know, if the ghost name was like Margaret, you do that whole Shaun of the Dead, we're coming for you, Margaret. You know, and it's like that. You have a bit of banter going through, and that helps lessen the fear factor.
It does, yeah.
But when you're playing it alone, yes, it is more scary. It's more jump scary. And I still get scared with you guys. You know, I think we make each other jump as well. Because especially during this Halloween, when you had the mask on and you're spawned inside someone, it's like, I've just spawned inside Beth. How many times? and that itself makes you jump. But yeah, the experience of playing alone, it's doable. But like I said, there is a definite difference between playing with someone and playing alone, and it's just that massive scare factor goes right up when you're alone. As even, like you said, as an experienced player, and I do enjoy it. I do enjoy playing it alone. Sometimes not everyone I associate with is available to join me, so I still play it. I go, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to play it. I might stream it. Sometimes I don't always stream it, and I just want to get used to the maps. I try to do things that before you guys come into the game, I'll go, right, okay, I've understood this better. And literally the moment I speak it, it's changed, and there'll be a different atmosphere again, completely different. You just think, oh, I've learned something. It meant nothing because you did all that research for nothing, because you now find that there's a different experience. But it's I'll keep going back to it.
I'm sure we all will. Just keep playing it, having fun.
It is. Yeah. To me, it's going to be a fun game. Once that fun runs out, that's when you stop. And you know, I do look at other influencers as well and try to pick up some tips and tricks. Sometimes I just find things, I discover things without even realizing that had already been covered, because I won't always look at YouTube and stuff like that to get my experience or knowledge. And just sorry,
Steve, I just want to chime in. What you're saying about getting experience off YouTube and out there, there's actually a guy on YouTube and Twitch. It's called InSim, and he streams.
Yes. I know. I follow him.
Yeah, he streams Phasmophobia forever.
He streams it every day.
He has some of the best tips and tricks out there. So if you want some, I will say expert, because he's like level 8,000 and something stupid.
He is ridiculously high. Yeah, InSim is someone who I followed when this first came out, because a lot of other people, when this first came out, there were no influencers. So you were lucky to be picked up. If I was a much bigger streamer than I am now, I would imagine I would have had a bit more of a chance to get my foot in the door. But unfortunately, I'm not. So that meant I was left behind with many others. Not just, you know, I'm not selfish and I'm not bitter by that. But it would have been, it was that time when it came out, you didn't know how the game was going to go, which direction the game was go, how long. There could have just been a 5-minute wonder and died. But when it took off, people who, like I said, I think the bigger influencers, and we spoke of those, I think it is someone like InSim who actually says to the devs, he was the one who had the lead dev,
plays with the devs.
DK Naito, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Literally, as I'm speaking now, he has just posted in the Phasmo Discord. Literally, as I speak, DK Knight has just announced something. So, yeah, that was kind of spooky that we were speaking about this. Oh, yeah. But yeah, he has him in the chat all the time, and it's like I learned a lot from him.
Plays with him a lot as well. I
Yeah,
used to play with him on stream quite a bit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
It was making Nightmare Mode look like amateur. I was just like,
I've stopped watching him, not because I don't enjoy him, but because I wanted to learn from myself, and I didn't want him to. Like I picked up a lot of good tips. Don't get me wrong. He is, like you said, he is really good at the game. He's so good at the game. He knows exactly what to do. He knows the ghost before the ghost has even appeared. It's like it's just amazing.
Plays it all the time.
I am praising him a little bit, probably too much. I don't know, but I do. I've stopped watching him just so I can get I want to learn myself. You know what I mean? I want to learn now, especially now I've come this far, and with the new Nightmare Mode. If I'm struggle, then he's the first person I go to, sort of thing. I'll go check out one of his YouTube channels, or if I've got some downtime and I'm not playing and I'm streaming myself, I'll probably watch when he streams, because he streams every day.
On the subject of spooky games, we're talking about Phasmo. What do you think of Ghost Hunter Corp now? Do you think that needs to massively catch up to Phasmo? Because at one point it was actually a great alternative to Phasmo, but there's been hardly any content updates or bug fixes for ages, and now I just like it's just sitting in my game list, and I'm just like I don't really want to play it. It's not like I don't find it fun. I just get tired of getting stuck in walls, doors, and getting stuck in walls and doors, and the stuff not spawning in properly, and things. It's freaky when the ghost head spins around 400 million miles an hour and then shoots off into orbit. I mean, that's great, but in terms of having to find out what that is, not so great. So my question is, do you think that Ghost Hunter Corp needs to pick up the pace, or it's going to be left behind in the dregs of early access games?
Absolutely needs to pick up the pace, because that was another game that came out. It came out, I think, about 9 months after Phasmo.
Yeah,
on the trend. Phasmo was the first to actually go out and say, "Look, this is a ghost." They were very successful with it. And even in the early days, and a lot of us played beta as well on Phasmo, because I think I encouraged a lot of you to play beta first, because you'll get a better experience, and you'll experience that firsthand. I think that's now moved on. I think beta's now closed. So you are playing it, but nine months on, Ghost Hunter Corp came out, and Phasmo stopped. It come to almost an end. It was like, oh shit! I really liked Phasmo, to the point where I was like, if anything beat this, I don't know if I could cope. It was like, oh no, Ghost Hunter Corp's come out. I was like, okay, there's room for competition, and you shouldn't compare the two, but you can't help it. It's easy to sort of like get carried away and say, well, this is better because and X, Y, and Z. And that's better because, there were certain things with should explain that actually they both have similarities in terms of like trying to find the ghost, what the ghost type is, what items you need. So you got the EMFs, you got your night vision cameras, you've got your crucifixes, but the way in which Ghost Hunter Corp had as well, you would then exercise the ghost, and that had never been done before. Not in this format, at least. So when they brought out that I was like, oh, this is new. I like this. And I didn't feel too bad for liking it as well, because it was different. It wasn't the same. It was his own sort of making its own niche for its own its own way of playing.
And it had some nostalgia bait for the old Proton gun.
Yeah,
With the
with the
sound effect from the bloody
that's
Yeah.
Ghostbuster film itself, and the only thing that's missing, I said this, that the game needs to have ghost traps. I think that's the next.
yeah.
We need to
That'd be
have
so
ghost traps.
cool.
That'd be awesome. But I did suggest
Collects
that.
the
I
ghost.
They
I
never responded.
I didn't see an update for this Halloween, and I'm surprised by that. I
They
thought
said they were gonna, and they never
never
brought
done
one
it.
out.
So
No.
they've missed the chance. They've missed a chance to actually. That would have been a good time to do it. Phasmo would,
Yeah.
or obviously
Can I
that's
just butt in?
yes,
real
yeah,
quick?
sure, of course you can.
They did release a pre-published, pre-production version of the
Right.
game. That's kind of like beta, for like Phasmo had a beta, and that has a pre-production, which is like their beta, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it has updates and stuff on there, and they've improved the UI and stuff like that. But yeah, just to let you guys know, I think they did that for Halloween. I'm not sure though, but
Right. Okay. So,
We're looking
that,
to
but they didn't
yeah.
do a proper Halloween like what Phasmo did, with all
Yeah.
those
yeah.
little Easter eggs and stuff. But
Well,
yeah,
and their celebration thing they did as well, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
their
that was
birthday
awesome.
celebration because
Yeah.
they launched just prior to Halloween last year.
Yeah.
Then they did the Halloween. They didn't take it didn't take them too long as well. I was very pleased and surprised when Phasmo bought that Halloween out. I was like, oh, okay, this is really cool. Like they're listening, and at the time it was a very small dev, and I think it was a very dev team, I should say,
Yeah.
not dev. I don't know how tall he is. I wasn't talking about his physical height, but yeah, no, and so to do that birthday stream that they did, or the birthday stream, the birthday celebrations that they did for that year, and then of course this year they've become kind of a veteran in that field, and
Yep.
the team has got bigger. They've got a much bigger team to help do things now, and with the Ghost Hunter Corp, they had a small team as well, and there was some. And I know they got some issues because it's not his natural language isn't English. I think maybe French. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that because I'm not too sure. But so his natural tongue, I suppose, his mother tongue is not English. So some things wasn't translated correctly as well, from what I understand. Again, I'm picking up a lot of that was a lot of information that comes from InSim as well. So good old InSim got me involved in that as well.
The info.
Yeah, the influencer, because there was that, and then we are slowly starting to see more games. But I do think before I finish up on that, I'll just mention that they do need to update very soon, because for a brief time they overtook Phasmo as been a much better experience.
Yeah.
Wouldn't necessarily better game, but an experience because of how, like you said, you got the we call them the plasma rifles. We know that's not what they're calling them in that, but that's what we're used to seeing, with that particular sound. The exercising of the ghost, the
Make them do those press-ups.
yeah, exactly. Taking for a 10-mile
Yeah.
run. But it's it definitely needs to step up. I don't think there's much competition. I was gonna segue into it. There is another game, Obsidio, which has a similar basis, but it's more cartoony in its look and feel. You still get hunted. It does the same thing. You've got to detect the ghost, find out what it is, and then exercise it. It has a different way of exercising it, using the Bible, and you might bring in. It might need something like a crucifix. It might need holy water. But I think I did a stream with I think all three games just to compare them. I don't know if Beth was in the stream, but that was interesting. Yeah, well, the way in Obsidio, the way that Obsidio did its exorcism, you actually see a demon rise up, and that was kind of scary. But again, it's very cartoony, so they I don't know how far ahead they are on their roadmap as in terms of like what they're going to bring out. But that obviously that needs to be a bit of a facelift. But it's again, it's another game that's on the tail of Phasmo, and it probably plays what third fiddle to Ghost Hunter Corp. So that's that. And Forewarned, Forewarned is another game as well. Which is set in in Egypt, so you actually go in the tombs of like the Egyptian tombs. So it's like you're in that. Again, it's the same principle. Yeah, so it's a different setting. It's a different kind of atmosphere. You have to still try to discover what the spirit is.
Some ashes.
Yeah, and I haven't played much of it, but so I can't give too many details. Other than the fact that it's another ghost hunting type game. So there are starting to come out now. They're all starting to come forward, but again, they've got to step up because I think now with the team that Phasmo's got, they are gonna run away. And if you want to be noticed, I think you've got to start doing different but better, or better and different. Yeah.
And on that subject, there is a game that's come out that I recommended to everyone buy, and now I'm officially going to retract that recommendation. It's called SPAT, S.P.A.T, which is paranormal investigations and eliminations, a bit like Ghost Hunter Corp, except you're military and you have guns, shotguns, dynamite, bazookas, and you hunt werewolves, vampires. The other side of the supernatural world, all the physical entities. And I watched a few YouTubers play it, and they heavily edited their videos to make the game look amazing.
Oh.
And when I actually watched somebody play it who wasn't a big streamer, yikes! It's one of the buggiest, probably worst experiences I've watched. And never mind playing it. The guy's game hard crashed about 15 times to desktop before he could even get the thing to run. And then when he got it to run, stuff wasn't spawning incorrectly. Stuff was stacking. There was collision issues. There was pathing issues. There was stuff that's not working. Doors disappearing. Not when you died, you couldn't quit the game. You couldn't leave the game. The game just froze.
Oh.
Then you had to forcibly shut, or you'd get a blue screen of death if you left it. So the premise is amazing, but I think the devs are. I think dodgy warning here. In my opinion, they are taking the absolute mick.
Right.
So I would strongly recommend, if you've picked that up and not put any hours into it, get a refund.
Right.
I know a few of our community have bought it on my recommendation, and I'm not wrong very often, but I'll hold my hands up. When I've made some mistakes, and that is definitely a game to avoid.
For shame.
Yeah, and there's another game that was recommended to me, which I bought and refunded. And that's called Malum, and I streamed this a little while ago, and it was hilarious. It was so bad, it was just hilarious. It's like you're an investigation person. You're in a van. You spawn in a van. You got all this nice interior, and there's nothing to suggest what's going to happen. And then you walk into this house, and it's like you got to exorcise a demon. Okay, and then it's like you got to collect these ornaments that are just randomly around the house, like skulls, books, knives, they like sacrificial stuff. You perform a ritual, and you got to figure out what this ritual is. There's like 20 million different combinations for this ritual, right? And the demon's there, and he's supposed to kill you when he runs into you. He's supposed to stab you in the face or eat you or something. I ran into him, and he just went, "Oh, hello."
I remember that game.
Yeah,
I remember you playing that.
And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "What? He's what?" So I followed him around.
If you want a relaxing ghost hunting experience,
you
just
want to
play
have a
that.
chat. Let's have a chat with Demon. And I followed him around, and then I put it on the hardest setting, thinking, right, he's definitely going to kill me. And he just walked up to me, walked straight past me, and was just like, "Oh, hello, good evening."
Good evening.
I was like, and I just collected the stuff, and I was just like, you know what? Before I could even do the ritual, I was like, I'm just gonna quit. It's not even. I'm not even gonna bother. This is the hardest difficulty setting, and the demon doesn't even give a monkey's like I'm there. Then, it's, like if again the same thing. If you bought it, no hours into it, please refund it. It's not worth it. Even if they add $1 million upgrades to it. There's no way they're going to fix that core gameplay. Let's have Demon Hugging Simulator. That's what I'm going to call that game from now on.
Wow.
Yeah. Demon Hugging
that's-
Simulator.
Terrible. Yeah, it's
That's
3D's no section too there.
oh dear. So one to avoid then.
Definitely.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
definitely want to exercise that one from your library. Hey.
Hey, I'm here all week, people.
Yeah, I'm here all week. Please follow.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Oh dear. Okay, so yeah, should we
Get started.
should we get started? Welcome everyone to the podcast. No, I think that's a good way to sort of get going, wasn't it?
Good
Bit of a warm up. So
Yeah.
let's talk about games we've played then, shall we? We're moving to the next section of games we've played, or recently, or past wise. Anyone want to start us off, or I can go first if you like. Anyone? Who's gonna throw their card into the hat?
I will.
Go on
because
then.
The game I'm going to talk about is quite long. I'll keep it short, but the game I'll talk about is quite long.
It's long, but I'll keep it short.
Yeah, that's what she said. But yeah, it's you've probably played it as Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
Yes,
or at
yes,
least watched
yes,
it. Or at least
yes.
watched it.
Excellent game.
It's on PC and it's on PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5 if you have one. And yeah, it's basically a choice matters game. It's all done live capture. Some amazing actors in it. I guess Supermassive Games. I think. No, it's not. It's not Supermassive. It's the other one. Hang on. What's it?
Oh, brain fart.
Intermission.
I didn't have it. I didn't have it loaded up. Quantic Dream. There you go. Quantic Dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So this game's massive. I mean, it's literally one of the biggest games, I think, in terms of story branching out there. Over 100 different endings. Although, albeit most of them slight, you do have at least 40 core endings that are very, very different from each other, depending on who you keep alive, what decisions you make. And it's basically about robots becoming sentient and becoming aware of and wanting to be, I'm alive, I'm not your slave. As in this reality, the world has been taken over by robots, taking people's jobs, taking over all the mundane jobs, even taking over jobs as sex workers, and stuff like that. So it's a very mature game, and it's a very deep thinking game. Gets your brain turning and what is life? How do you value life? And if that was to happen in this day and age, because there are sentient AI robots out there that could be deemed alive if they pass the what's called the turning. Is it the tuning test? Turning test?
Oh, the turning. Yeah, Alan Turning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. They pass that, then technically they are sentient life. So it sort of touches on that a little bit, and it's at least if you want to get all the endings, it's like 200 hours plus.
Yeah,
the game is immense, and I think you can buy it on the PlayStation Store for about 15 quid at the moment, or at least get it in a pre-owned sale for 20 quid minimum. PC is a little bit more expensive because obviously it's come out recently, but again on sale that's about 15 quid. I will say, like a special mention of Brian DeChart, I think is his name, plays the
Brian DeChart. Yeah,
it plays the one of the lead androids. What's his name?
Twitch.
Yeah.
He's on Twitch. Yeah, he's
on
True. His name's Brian.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, Brian DeChart. Yeah,
from True Blood.
Yeah, he's in True Blood as well. Where's he?
Yeah, he was in True Blood.
Connor,
that's it. Connor. I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, Connor. Yeah, he's amazing. He sells that whole game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch True Blood again now.
It was because, like you said, it's a big cast, isn't it? It's got Clancy Brown. It's got Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Who's from Aliens? Yeah, he was. There's been Aliens, Terminator. There's a few. Well, no, like normally, if you bring in an actor, a well-known actor, it can go either way, and I think this one really went well which is good. Which is good for the actors because, like, you get. Otherwise, you get someone go, "Oh yeah, you was in that." Yeah, don't mention it because they'll take it off my CV. But this one, I think they're definitely worth mentioning.
It's a very well done game.
Oh yeah,
7 years in the making. 8 years, 7 years in the making, something like that. And if you watch the making of, You see
Yeah.
how they do all these things with cardboard boxes and cardboard
Yeah, I've
props,
seen.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a
Seen that.
warehouse with pallets and wooden chairs
It's
and
so
like
cool.
cardboard cutouts of dogs and stuff and people, and it's just like wow. How could you? You have to be some degree of actor to be able to switch on that sort of
Yeah.
environment, you know.
Yeah.
But that and the performance they gave was, I'm not gonna say this because it's cheesy, but I honestly thought they deserved some sort of Oscar for some of the performances. And that Clancy Brown, especially, he was phenomenal. And Clancy Brown is literally good in every
Yeah.
movie he's in now. But he's been in a lot of good stuff as well. And I think that put him back on the map a little bit, playing that
Yeah.
part. And it's I would recommend playing it. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's too much to talk about. I'll be
It's
here
quite.
till 3 o'clock in the morning.
It
So yes, go on, Steve.
No. So I just wanted to add to what you were saying. It's like, yeah, it was a good game. It's also from the makers who done Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain. It's David Cage, I think it was,
Yeah,
who's the
David
director.
Cage
Yeah,
game,
he
yeah.
did all of those films. I was gonna say films because we're
There
talking
might
about
be
actors.
film-
I like
Yeah,
film.
Yeah,
there
they
might
could be.
interactive films.
Interactive
could
film. Yeah,
Be that.
the video
They
games.
are that, I say. They are
Yeah.
that, I would
Yeah,
say.
because I played Heavy Rain. I've done the other two as well. I've played all of them, but I played them in a different order. I played them in a different order. I didn't play them in the order that they come out. Heavy Rain, Detroit, and then I've done Beyond Two Souls. But like, I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, they're all standalone, so it's not a major difference which way you play it. But you can tell that they are from the same. What's the same game developers? Listen, I tried to. I couldn't get there.
Same.
Brain fart.
Lots of those today. But yeah,
yeah.
it's a really well done game and really, really in depth story and
Oh, yeah.
characters. Gameplay's fun. Yeah.
It is very good. So while we're on the subject of my brain's just got done the same thing. Quantic Dream. Did you ever play one of the game that launched them into fame was called Fahrenheit? Have you ever played that?
No, I didn't play that.
It's an old PC game now. But I would highly recommend you pick it up. I think it's like £2 on G2A.
Cheap.
Unsponsored. So you should... Honestly, it's the most underrated gem out there of RPG games. This game literally takes the premise of choices and flips it on its head and literally builds the game around everything you do. It is literally one of probably the only few games that actually does that. Like, I know Detroit Become Human comes close, but this is literally like how you interact, how you talk to people, how you answer, how you walk into a room, who you look at, who you ignore. It takes all of that into account. It's a very, very good sort of social interaction choices matter game, and I would recommend it. I would recommend buying that. It's a hidden gem, and I would strongly top pick for old games. Definitely, if you can ignore the laxer graphics and the cheesy voice acting.
Yeah.
But it's still a really good game, and it's very, very, very adult. Okay, so there's a lot of explicit stuff in there. So anyone that's under 18, don't play it, or don't tell your parents, and don't tell them I told you can play
it. Oh dear. No, don't. That's something I'm going to probably have to add to the list, I think. Well, I've got my list is just getting bigger and bigger each week now.
Yeah.
The amount of games that's coming out as well, which we'll get into later. So yeah, shall I go on to my highlight, because I'm moving on with time wise.
Yeah, and then I'll do mine after yours.
Go
yeah,
for it.
sure. So the game I wanted to bring to the table this week was Vampire or Vampire, I suppose, depending on how you want to pronounce it, just because of how it's written. It's a very good game. Highly recommend it. It's what's the best way to actually say this? Basically, it's set in 1918 London, just after the Spanish flu has just hit, so people are dying anyway. But you got Dr. Jonathan Reed, comes back from the war and has been freshly bitten and turned into a vampire, and then he has to go on this hunt to try and find his maker. It's a choice matters game. I think it's got 4 different endings, one of which I actually got. I have played it through once. Your choices, when it says choice matters, your choice does matter, I think, greatly in this, in the fact that if you kill someone quite early on, they might have clues to that you might need like connections with, so they're connected to someone. So if you kill, I think you get a choice that you save a man quite early, and the game says to you, why don't you try to do mesmerize? Mesmerizing is trying to influence the victim, if you like, or the patient, depending on how you want to play the game. You're going to get to a point where you could, just before you kill them, it's almost like just before you kill them, they have a chance to live, but as a vampire again. Or you can kill them outright, and you mesmerize them to get information, try to find information from that person. That gives you a clue. So then when you go to speak to someone else later on, you'll have an icon which comes up because it has a speech wheel. So like choose A, B, or C, or you could ask this question, ask that question. But the game actually gives you'll get a much better result of questioning the right person with the right information. And you can, I think there's mini boss fights that you do early on, which the game wants you to play the best ending it can, but you don't have to. You can choose to be you can wipe the entire city of London out, but you would have a very bad experience towards the end. You could just get the worst ending ever. Or to get the best ending ever, you'll need to save everybody. And it's the most difficult way of playing it. I'm doing a second run at the moment. I played it when it first came out. It came out in 2018. It's from the developers Don't Nod. And if you're familiar with the name, you think, well, why is that? They're the ones that did Life is Strange. I think they did those ones. So again, that's all choice matters as well. So for them to go down the pathway of horror was very good. It's not perfect, but it's, the combat could have done with a bit more work, I think. But you kill someone in the game early on, it's going to have a massive impact later on. Like, I think you do a mini boss fight, as I was going to mention. There's a possibility that if you kill that person, they will drop a key to a chest, and that chest will have a really good weapon. And that weapon you'll then be able to use against the big boss, or one of the main bosses. And then you think, well, that's the best way to do it. That's going to give you a bad ending because you should keep that person alive. So it makes you want to think, oh, how do I want to play it? Which pathway do I want to go down? Do I want to save everybody and make the game becomes extremely difficult, or do I kill some people and give myself a little bit of a chance to beat the bosses? But I really loved it. I really liked playing through it. It's I think it's still on Steam at the moment.
I played a little bit of that game too. I didn't play all through it, but I still need to because what I played of it was really good. And the first boss was so difficult to beat. I don't know. It's just really difficult. But when I played it, I really enjoyed it. It's good. It's a good choice. I like it.
It was.
Sorry, Steve. I played it quite a bit. I put quite a few hours into it, and I got stuck because I couldn't decide who I wanted to kill to get stronger. The only person I killed was the first idiot you meet under the bridge. And I was like, "You're getting chomped, mate, no matter what." And it was like, it's like a tutorial bit. He's supposed if you don't kill him, it's quite funny because he ends up like helping you. But it's like you say, choices matter. Who you save, who you don't save, has consequences or benefits further down the line. And it's got an interesting system in the game where it's got all territory. I think it matters who's there, and if you go and kill certain people of influence, it messes up the whole stability of the neighborhood.
Yeah,
I think you touched on this. And they're like, but if you go there, and it's either harder or easier depending on what you do. So it's one of the first sort of games that impact the surrounding areas that you like supposed to go and help and sort of quest in. And it might not know this, but they recently announced a next generation upgrade for free on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. For those that own a digital copy of the game. I'm not sure if they're going to be upgrading the PC version, but it's improved frame rate, bug fixes, combat fixes, the whole kit and caboodle, texture overhaul, and they're making the game look like loads better than it does already. And the game that looked bad by any means. And so they announced that a little while ago. I saw it on the PlayStation website. But yeah, it's one of these games that is. I think it didn't do as well as it should have done because it flew under the radar because when they released it, and now it's getting a little bit more attention, and I think it's found a little bit of a following as well because there are some cool mods you can get for it. You can turn him into Blade as a Blade mod, and it can even turn, and even with some guys actually recorded all the dialogue as Blade. So you can talk as Blade, which is immense, really, when you think about it. And there's skins and stuff. You can make them look like Spider-Man, and you can make them look like characters from True Blood and things like that. So it's got quite a little unique little following now, and with the upgrade, the free upgrade as well, it's only going to get stronger. There is an actual sequel in development. I don't know if you're aware of this. There is a sequel in development. It's in the early stages of pre-production. So they're still waiting to get some funding for a few bits, but for the most part, it's scheduled to come out at the end of 2023. Which a lot of fans are waiting on the continuation of this series, and I think it definitely needs to continue because it's one of the better vampire games, or vampire games out there. I don't think anything even comes close to how good it is in terms of branching characters and storyline. Even though I would say anything negative, I would say it's a bit short. If you speed through it and don't do all the side quests, it's a bit on the short side. I think someone's got like a speed record of like an hour and a half or something stupid.
Yeah, depends. Yeah, depends on because it is it's a semi open world, meaning that you do have some rain, but then you'll get to a point where you have to wait for the loading. But it's whilst some boss battles are mandatory, most of the combat you can avoid. You can, like you said, like you probably speed through it. Run away, just to ride. You do have an ability. There's a cloaking ability that if you use that, you'll be able to just walk once through most areas. And literally, if you get to a key character that might have a key for a lock, literally just taking that, I was getting a little bit. It was kind of a rinse and repeat of certain combats areas where you think, oh, I've just killed this, but sometimes I think the enemies do respawn, if I remember correctly. So when you go through one area, you've killed everyone, and then some of the AI who are kind of background characters that you just
some of those mobs are really hard as well.
Some of them hard, and they will corner. They will. I think the AI was really good in some ways because like you'll get cornered by the AI,
and you get ambushed.
You get ambushed. You have a lock on that you can use in combat. You can switch between the two people that you're trying to fight, but there could be multiple people that you're trying to fight. You go to lock on one character, and as you go into a combat, someone else will jump you from behind you. You're like, well, I've got to switch now to try and take care of this guy. And of course, the more you go into the game, the more difficult it becomes. And then that's where, like you said, you've got people coming around. There's going to be people with crucifixes holding that up, and that will burn you because you're a vampire essentially. So you're going to burn. And they've got people with trying to kill you with stakes. And as much as it is a good game, I think that some of the combat needed to be a little bit more worked on. But other than that, that would be my only complaint. Really, is like the combat system is a little bit too,
and the tedious respawns.
Yeah, just that respawn. A lot
of tedious respawns that kind of hamper the game experience. Especially, like I said, some of them are really, really difficult to kill, especially if you're not high level.
Yeah.
So if you're like still low level or not reluctant or still reluctant to kill people, no matter how hungry your geezer complains about you is, and then you fight like you're like level 6 and you're fighting like level 15, and you're just like you barely win, and you go and do a quest, you come back out and they're all respawned again, and you got no health items or anything, and you're like,
Damn.
shit.
Yeah.
Oops,
It-
sorry. Poop,
Naughty.
poop.
Swear bucket.
Yeah. I need a curse button. Beep. And you
It's-
absolutely beep, and you beep, and then you get beeped, and you beep again.
yeah.
Sorry, is that?
It,
Yeah, it's so annoying.
but it does have some good bits. I think those bits that are good really make up for the bits that
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's got some great voice acting in it as well. Anthony Howell, if you didn't realise, he is English-born actor. He done.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with him, he did the voice of Samuel was in Alien Isolation. He done a load of other stuff as
British
well.
actors in that. There's a lot of
So,
British,
yeah.
British actors in that game.
There is some actors in it that's worth.
Yeah.
I think it was worth noting his voice acting because, like I said, I've played a few games and I was like, oh, I recognise that voice. So that's what the reason I knew it because I've played so many games with him in it as a voice
Yeah.
actor. I'm like, well, I need to find out who he is now.
One of the best things I love about Vampire is the opening sequence, and then the story beats at the start that really grip you like immediately, and you're like you want to know how this happened and where it goes. And I'm not going to go because it's go and play it, but it after that sequence, I was like.
It's
jaw dropping moment. I was like, "Damn!"
I liked going into the game because I had read Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now I know they're set sort of like 100 years apart because this is 1918, and I think Bram Stoker's Dracula is set in 1819 or something like that. It's set that, but that Victorian sort of era of London, and you're like, oh, and you've seen the movie, of course, but like when you read the book, you've got it in mind as well. So going into this game, it was like I was reading. You could see where the influences were coming out. You know, they're probably maybe someone had read the books, maybe someone had seen the films or whatever, and they go right. It's Victorian London. It's industrial in London. Whatever they decided to look at, they go right. The Spanish flu was a good. That was a good way to cover up people dying. I was like, especially as we were just coming out of a pandemic. The last pandemic was 1918, Spanish flu. So we're coming full circle now. It was like it's really weird how we're mentioning it now, but I never really gave that much thought until I was looking at some brief notes of the game, and it reminded me of that. But that's like that's why I went into this game because of reading that book. So yeah, books do have their purpose, even in video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, there we go. That's Vampire. That's my highlight of this week.
Awesome.
It's definitely worth picking up. Even if you haven't picked it up, like I said, it came out in 2018, so it's a few years ago. But it's like as 3D just picked up on, they're updating it as well. So and there will be a sequel. So that's good to know. Hopefully they will improve on that combat.
Awesome.
Right.
So I'll talk about mine. All right. So mine game I played is called Space Boat, and it's not about boats in space. Well, kind of.
Boats in space.
So yeah, this game is a Kickstarter. It's still, I think, funding. I'm not quite sure about that, but I think it's still funding. It's a demo, and I got a key through a friend, which very awesome. Bacon Sani, just to So this game is kind of like a detective kind of action kind of narrative game kind of thing. And you play as a detective called the Inspector Domino or something. Domino. And basically it has, you're a detective, you're investigating this I presume ship, and basically premise, like the game basically just makes fun and takes the mick out of, like paywalls and microtransactions, all that good stuff. And
Brilliant.
it's really comical. There's funny characters in there. For example, there's a pre-order L in there. He's like a big pink blob of stuff. I don't even know what he's made of. Gelatin. But he's a big blob. You interact with him. There's a robot receptionist called Karen, and a
Of
funny
course she is.
yeah, a funny interaction you have with her is you say, "Can I speak to the? I'd like to speak to the manager to her," and she's like, "No, I am the manager." I just thought that was really funny. But yeah, the game takes place on this big galactic ship, so that's where the space boat, I presume, comes from. And I don't know a lot about the story, but I presume you're investigating the paywalls, you're just investigating that ship. I think. But I think there's like puzzles. They're gonna add puzzles. They're gonna add, lots more story to it because it's very early in the, it's a demo and they've still got a Kickstarter for it. So, actually, one of the, I think, makers or developers was in chat. I don't know if they're still in chat, but their name was Law Witchy. They're also a streamer on Twitch and they stream the game. So if you're interested in learning about the game and stuff, you can go ahead and watch it on a little plug for them. But yeah, it's a very funny game. Like I said, there's not too much to it yet because it's not a full game, but what I played, it was fun. You had to go collect clues, figure out how to get certain items and, make notes and it was just really fun, funny, and just a really entertaining game away from all the horror that we've been playing, And yeah, it's just I wanted to talk about it a bit because one, I liked it, and two, I wanted to give it a little bit of attention. Just because I think I think it's going to be cool when it fully releases. Talking about the release date, I don't know when it's going to be released, but they say when the pizzas are ready, that's when it will be released. So I don't know when that will be, but yeah, it's just a comedy kind of action detective kind of game. So I'd recommend it if you like that kind of stuff. And don't take it seriously. Don't take it seriously. Yes, everything about it is not to be taken seriously. But that's my spotlight, and I recommend you support it. And I think you can download the demo. I think so. If you want to try it out, download the demo. So yeah,
It's that definitely.
yeah. It's kind of like, I know people probably haven't played it and stuff, but yeah, it's just a game I played recently and I asked them if I could talk about it and they said yes, so here I am talking about it.
Good.
But yeah,
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, we should always try to give some Kickstarters a little bit of a
yeah,
spotlight because you never know what's going to become of that. You never know.
yeah.
Some good games have been Kickstarters in the
Good
past.
games
So,
come from Kickstarter because remember the Kickstarter.
so absolutely, yeah. If it's worth
Yeah.
mentioning, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So
It does look colourful as well. It looks like
very colourful.
doesn't take itself too seriously.
It's
Like you
very
said, it
cute.
don't take it seriously. But yeah, it does
Yeah,
look like
definitely
it's gonna be a fun one to do. Maybe a short, it's gonna be one of those. I think it could be a good fun stream watch as well because it's
Yeah.
because of the comedy that seems to be involved in it. So yeah, definitely one to look out for. So that's Space Boat.
Yes, Space Boat.
With currently without a release date.
Yeah, no release date yet.
But yeah.
But if you
it's-
want to keep up to date with it, I'm sure you can go over to Laurie Witchy's channel, another plug. And
yeah.
you know, I'm sure they have information about it and stuff. And yeah, that's me done.
Recombinator Games, is that how you pronounce that? Yeah. I think
I'm
that's
not sure how you say the name of it, but
yeah,
yeah.
but that's the developer. And yeah. TBD. Is that the publisher? Or is that to be discussed?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
to be
Disclosed.
developed.
Yeah. To
I
be
don't know what,
developed. Is that
whatever
what-
it means. It's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
That is
It's
their
to be
actual name. Yeah.
something.
Brilliant. Excellent. Right.
Yeah.
So those are our spotlights for this week. That's coming up. What is it? It's coming up to 10 o'clock. What do we want to step into next? Some releases, new releases. Do you want to do
Yep.
that?
Some
Should we look new releases
new
and
releases,
future?
upcoming games. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yes, I'm excited
Yeah.
for this. I got a good one,
Okay.
Do you
and
want,
I'm very excited for.
are you leading the way, Steve, or do you want me to?
No. Go for it. Go
No,
for
right,
it. We
okay.
go round in a
Right.
circle, I think.
Right. So I'll mention a couple. So I've got a massive list here.
You have.
So I'll pull a couple out of this that I definitely must own titles. These games will be coming out sometime. Maybe sometime in the morning, maybe sometime in the evening, or maybe not at all. In 2022 or 2023. Most of these games should be coming out next year, 2022, with a caveat of a couple that I mentioned. And the first one I'm going to mention is Black Myth Wukong. If you guys don't know what that is a Asian game, generally to the west of Son Goku, was the name taken from Dragon Ball Z. Is that's the character he's based on. And let me pull up a trailer. The game is a phenomenal open world sort of RPG.
What happened?
I'm still there.
Yeah,
Oh.
you're still there.
Sorry, I'm just putting up a trailer so you can look at it.
Yeah, okay.
Give me
thought-
1 second.
I thought we lost you.
No. Right. So
Yes.
I've got a trailer playing now. So this is due to come out at the end of next year, maybe mid 2023, and it's a Souls-like adventure where you play essentially a monkey dude. He was a king, like a god, if you like, and he was a bit naughty, and he got sealed away for 500 years. And this is his journey up to that point. This is how he gets to out. This is how he becomes a god. This is how he gets all his powers. This is how he takes the fight to the gods. And then once he's won his battle, he gets sealed away. And then the story carries on 500 years after that. So there's going to be a massive list of these games, and this has never been done properly in by any sort of Asian developer. And this game is literally probably one of the hottest titles to come out of Asia. Literally everyone in the West is like, "We want it now." It's like literally just give me the game. And this is number one on my list as the most wanted to play. If I skip through the story a little bit, we get to some gameplay. There you go. So he's fighting a monkey, and you can see here the animations are swift. All the animation on the floor, all the terrain moves and the footprints and attacks move with terrain and stuff. And this is the alpha build, man. This isn't even. Hang on, have I made a boo boo here? I have, haven't I? Oh, you twit! I'm trying to show. Right, there you go. You should be able to see it on the stream now. I didn't have it. I didn't transition it. Anyway, there you go. There's the monkey in the corner. Right. Let me go back a bit because I'm explaining the scene and nothing. And there we go. Right. So he does a shockwave across the floor and he's spitting on him. So this is sort of details they're going in. You've got the weather effects. You've got all the particle effects and stuff. Sorry, I meant to keep this short, but I just love this game, man. It's going to be literally everyone's going to be wetting themselves trying to playing this game, and I highly recommend you add this to your wish list. Whatever list you've got on whatever platform you want it on, make sure you add it because this is going to be amazing when it comes out. So moving on to the next one, I'm just going to do one more, then someone else can take over. And I'm gonna look at Project Eve. I don't know if you saw this on the PlayStation showcase.
Saw a little bit, yeah.
So we're gonna jump into the trailer here, the gameplay trailer, and this is Bayonetta on steroids, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
I mean, everyone was there was a bit of outrage from the old woke brigade saying, "Oh, she's too sexy. Oh, she's too much for this, that, the other." It's like games are games, and it's fantasy. It's all made up. Who cares? And she's stunning. I mean, I had a crush on Bayonetta when they first announced the character, and then I found out she had a British accent, and I was like, "Yep, she's now my new waifu." So I'm guessing she's gonna have some super hot voice as well in the English dub to really sell her character. But in case it's not all about the attractiveness, this game looks phenomenal. As you can see by the trailer here, it just looks like it's on another level completely. I mean, look at that space station alien thing. Did it eat you alive? And combat. There you go. So there's some combat there. Definitely a must own. Definitely the camera angles, obviously just focusing on her bum at every opportunity. Because I can't do nothing about that. I'm not controlling the camera. It'd be worse if I was doing it. Anyway, so there's the fight demons and stuff. It's like there's platforming sections. There's probably going to be puzzles and stuff. But the real kink is the gore, combat, and just overall badassery of Project Eve. And that's I'm going to leave it at that. And now you guys can take over for me before I say anything else more embarrassing.
Go on, Steve. You can go next.
No, go on, Beth. I'll let you go
You
first.
want me to go?
Go for it.
All right. Well, the game. I don't know if people have heard of this, but I am very excited for this game. I'm a huge fan of this series, and it's never had a game before. It's Evil Dead the game. Now, I know you're probably like, it might not be that good. Yeah. I don't care. I am excited for this game. I saw the trailers, and like the gameplay. Like we don't have that much information about it just yet, but I am a huge fan of Evil Dead. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Campbell, and
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited to see Evil Dead in video game territory, and I can't describe. I'm just excited, so excited for it, and it's probably if it's a disappointment, I'm gonna cry, but I hope it's gonna be at least somewhat fun, and I just love that universe. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm just excited.
I hope they go through the movies.
Yeah, like if they do that, I'm just.
It looks brutal, man. I'm watching the trailer.
Yeah, I'm just.
Oh.
I can't even describe how
can hear that. That's
yeah.
It looks like it's open world as well, or at least an open sandbox.
It's a little bit loud there.
Yeah, I'm just excited for it, and I cannot wait. I cannot. Another game, just one more. We might as well do another one. This is kind of difficult one. But I am looking forward to the next Sherlock game. I'm a big fan of the Sherlock games. It's called I think Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 or something. We don't have too much information about it yet, but I'm a huge fan of those games. And I'm excited to see, what they do with it. And yeah, I love it. I love solving murders. I like Sherlock Holmes as a character, and I like what they did with the other games, and I hope this is, good like those, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited for that one.
They
And
revamped a lot of mechanics for this one.
yeah,
They sort of rebuilt the game from the ground up for a modern day audience and make it a bit more streamlined and a lot less. So with those games, sometimes you find yourself stuck for too long, or you're staring at the screen
Yeah.
for too long trying to figure out what's going on. So
Well,
they've
the
they've
puzzles,
streamed,
yeah.
they've removed some of the padding and made it a lot easier. Not necessarily easier, but not simpler, but more just more smooth
More.
gameplay gameplay loop rather than like you get stuck and then you get bored and you have to look up a guide and then it's like it's really confusing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, but definitely one to have. I've played those games as well, Beth. So
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to this one as well. I forgot about this actually.
Yeah.
You mentioned. So yeah, it's definitely one to put on your wish list as well.
It's at the top of my wish list. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right. So what I was looking at, I've played the first one, Oxenfree. I think it came out about 2017, 2018. It's a nice little side-scrolling exploration game. You know, a group of kids, they go to an island and they discover that there's aliens and spirits in the world. And there's a sequel. So I'm looking forward to that because it looks like it's going to be a bit of fun. I can't wait to put that up on there as well, big screen. Yeah, Oxenfree 2. Same sort of premises as the last one. What else can you say about? Yeah, you have to decide, go around the island trying to find clues. It was a fun game, and I look forward to trying out another load of this one. It's 5 years after the events of the first one. That's what this is about. And Riley returns to her hometown and they've got to get mysterious radio signals. You have to try to get the lost signals, I guess. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is a side scroller. It's a 2.5D, so you get that sort of almost 2D, but it's like that distance thing happening as well, which I always found quite interesting in games. So sometime next year it's coming out. I'm not entirely sure when. There's no actual date for it yet. It's on Steam. It's still just ready to be added to your wish list if you wanted to. It is from Night School Studios. I'm not sure what else they did. I think they did a couple of things. Obviously, Oxenfree was one of them. But yeah, that looks really great to just to get your head down on when that comes out. What my other game was, which is something I can talk to you about, was Brain, help me out. Wasn't it? I forget the name of it now.
Remember.
Oh, what's the one with the rats? It's damn it.
Plague
Tales Requiem. Is it Requiem? Yes.
Requiem.
Good. Thank you, Beth.
Yeah.
Right. So I played the first one. I do have that on my library in somewhere, but that's coming out next year. I'm not sure how they're going to go about. Like, because I thought I don't want to spoil it, so I don't want to give too much away from the first one. But like when it got to the end, you thought, well, that was their journey. I thought that was their journey, but I guess there's more story there to be told. It's a story about the young girl Amelia, I think. Yeah. No, you never played it. I think it was Amelia and her little brother Hugo. Their parents disappear. And it's set in France. And it's during the plague, so you have to try to lots of rats, and it turns out that Hugo possesses a power that controls the rats, and you use that to your advantage. It was a very good game, but I'm looking forward to actually playing this next one because the first one was really good. It's good. Again, you go around. I think there's some choice matters, I'm not sure, but the atmosphere of it was really good. Hopefully we don't have to wait too brutal. Yeah, very brutal. Game. Yeah, very brutal game.
It's on the nose on a lot of subjects for me, especially when dealing with the, kid death and stuff.
Yeah,
you see a lot of kid corpses and that actually put me off playing the game. I got to chapter 5 and I stopped playing it because of that very reason. but yeah, like I say, it's a very, very good game, very dark game, very deep game. There's a lot. There's a lot more to the story than just Splinter coming out of his cell running around.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
No,
it's
it
also
looks
it's a
good.
stealth map as well. So it's not your typical action games. A lot of puzzle solving, a lot of using your brain, a lot of getting people eaten by rats.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
lot of that.
Oh,
I'm just looking at the
Um,
trailer now
and
for the new
the second one looks like she's more of a badass and more of a seasoned killer. So she's probably going to have more combat options in the second one, and it's going to be more about protecting him properly than
Yeah.
sneaking around and using the rats to take care of armies or people. Or there might be someone else that controls them as well that you have to go and fight. There's loads of ways they can do it. Sorry to steal your
No,
thunder
that's
there,
fine.
Pete.
That's
But
okay.
no, it's one of these games that's probably again it's going to fly under the radar, because they're releasing it at a time where other games, bigger
Coming
games,
out,
are
big
coming
games, yeah.
out. But this game has actually got quite a big following now, and I need to try and force myself to get past that chapter 5.
Well, that
Um,
yeah, because it was done in sort of chapters, wasn't it?
yeah,
The lighting I thought was really good on the
graphically
game.
amazing. Yeah.
The atmosphere that they created with the lighting effects as well. There we go. Yeah, Plague Tale.
Did you see their next generation upgrade?
Um,
Because they brought it out on PlayStation 5 with the free
No.
next generation upgrade.
no, I think this is why I got the. I did. I originally played it on the PlayStation 4, and then I got it again for the PC because I just really loved the game. I was going to do it as a kind of solo, as a next playthrough, just to sort of give myself something to do. I mean, it could be co-op in the next one. It doesn't
That'd
actually.
be awesome.
Again, it is Azabo Studios and Focus Home Entertainment. Again, they're bringing that out. Yeah, going to be released 2022. Don't know. Again, there's no date, but I've already added it to my wish list. It's like
rumored to be as dark or darker than the
darker.
first one.
Looking at that trailer as well. There seems to be a lot more rat activity happening, which imagine a sea of rats coming towards you and you just think, well, that's it. I just give up. I might as well just dive in because I'm not escaping that.
You wouldn't even care. You wouldn't even you'd be like, yeah, I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah. Do you know what? Give up. I mean, I can't be done. I can't be asked. Get it over and done with now. Kill me now. But that's how you played it as well, wasn't it? You used the rats to your advantage, and it was very much it is a very much stealth game. There were some, as I remember from the first,
combat elements.
There was some combat elements. You pretty much all you had was a slingshot.
I know.
Slingshot. The only hopefully I know we should be talking about the second one, but just briefly adding on the first is the fact that I did do a playthrough, and I'm going to try and do another one soon, where I did it all day, and it was I think it was a 12-hour game, and it took me 15 hours, but I played it through, and I got stuck in an area because of a poorly placed autosave. So every time I spawned, I died. I spawned, I died, because it was just one of those awkward moments. And even my chat was like, that was unlucky. I was like, yeah. Tell me about it. It auto-saved just as it was an area where you controlled as Hugo. And he's small enough to walk under pews in a church or in between pews in a church. And I remember distinctively walking through and there was an autosave. I died because I got caught. You weren't allowed to get caught. That was the point of it. You weren't allowed to get caught. And every time I spawned back in, I was always getting caught. It was on a constant loop. I was like, no. But hopefully that doesn't happen. That was my one complaint about that whole game. The combat, the boss fights, they were all really good. But this one looks even better. So I'm hoping it's going to live up to its expectations, and they're going to iron out anything that they've learned from the first one and say, yeah, you know what, we will change this kind of thing and we'll change that kind of thing. Hopefully. And let's move on because
it's on Game Pass as well.
It's going to be on Game Pass. Brilliant.
Game
So
Pass,
actually worth
day one.
Day one. Excellent.
Yeah.
Just to mention, just quickly, I didn't say when my two games would be released. Evil Dead the game will be February 2022, maybe.
Yeah.
And Sherlock is actually this month on the the 16th of November.
Okay, so it's
So
coming out. Yeah, it's coming
yeah,
up soon.
very close. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I forgot.
Right. I just want to look down the list actually now just on Steam at the moment. If there's anything that's going to strike you and say, well, what jumps out at you? Or maybe you've got a different area that you want to look at. If there's any other games that you think might be coming out quite close that you think would be noteworthy, I'm just looking down the list now. I mean, I know there's Dying Light 2 coming out.
There's a game that I'm going to mention very quickly. I won't be too long. It's called Replaced. I don't know if you saw the trailer or in the announcements. This is where you play a robot who basically is an AI in a human body, and it's a 2D 3D game, cyberpunk art style, and it looks
Ooh.
phenomenal. It's like pixelated
Yeah.
graphics, but it looks so good. If I can get the visuals up now, so it's a very interesting concept of a game where you're an AI and you've got to figure out how to live as a human while dodging people hunting you and figuring out the story and what's going on. And it's the combat looks incredible for a 2D 3D game, and it looks something that's never been done before. And I think again, this might be. I don't think it's going to fly under the radar because this is the most played game music track or out there at the moment. It's the trailer dropped with the music, and then everyone was like, "We want a full copy of that song." Like literally everybody. So they released a full copy of that song, and it's like one of the most listened to tracks on Spotify now or something.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. It's not going to fly under the radar. I think loads of people are waiting on this game, but it looks. I mean, if you're watching my little trailer now, you can see how good it looks. It speaks for itself, really. I can't wait to play this, and it comes out. I think it's February next year.
Okay.
So it's going to come out. It's not too far away. I can't wait to play this. I was like, I think it's right up there, along with my hype for Elden Ring.
Is it a? It's a side scroller. Does that is a? I was gonna say, is it like a Metrovania, like a Metrovania type?
Something like that. Side scroller, beat 'em up, backwards and forth. Finding upgrades and stuff. It looks incredible. I can't wait to play that. I just thought I'd just throw that in as one of the.
Oh no! I'm glad you mentioned it because I wouldn't have known about that, and I've played quite a lot of games side scrollers as they are 2D platform and pixelated games. I always find it interesting when people think, well, pixelated games are always associated with like early games back in 80s or 70s, and you think no, they still work today. They're just give
so
them
much
time.
more of it now as well. There's so many good pixelated games out there. Quite a few on Game Pass actually that I've touched on my streams. But I'll quickly mention this one. I know I'm not talking about Minecraft or you start bloody saying Minecraft. No. Two pixelated games worth a look at. That's a quick mention. Moonglow Bay, which is a little Stardew Valley adventure game. Nice, peaceful, chill game. Play as a fisherman. You got to build up your dad's fishing empire and save the town. And then you've got the other one, which I've tried to play, but I've played off stream, Echo Generation, which is basically Stranger Things, the game. Which is not called Stranger Things. It has lots of references to memes and humor from this generation. So there's two plugs there for good 8-bit style 3D games that people think, oh, it's gonna look rubbish. Play them games; they look great. And they're
I can see it now. The Echo.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very Stranger Things, and it's got that 80s look to it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Cool.
I think I did see that in the list as well, and I was like, if no one touches on it, I was going to mention it myself. So I'm glad you mentioned it because it was
Yeah.
another game that I was gonna just jump on, because again it comes into that whole thing of, like you said, it's a pixelated 2D type game. But yeah, great choices actually. It says that's released 2021. There's no confirmation of that as yet. Planned release. Do we know? No.
Those games, they're
No,
out now.
the Echo Generation. No, they're both out now?
Yeah, both out now on Game Pass.
Oh, on Game Pass. Okay, so it
Yeah,
hasn't.
Game
Right.
Pass, sponsor me.
Yes, sponsor
Sponsor us. Actually, yeah, sponsor us. Sorry.
Yeah.
How selfish of me. I retract that. Sponsor us.
Oh no, I do like that Echo Generation. That looks good though. I like the look of that. That looks great. I might have to even jump in on that. It's good to have some sort of something different than what you normally play. You know, like the big, massive, like AAA type games with the out of the world sort of graphics, as we pointed out earlier, with the Detroit Become Human. Sorry,
Human Become Detroit.
Human Become Detroit. Yeah, that's right. Robots become human. No, because and then you go back to like these pixelated. We're going to jump on that subject, I think, another time actually, before we run out of time. Because we will run out of time. I think that's going to be another subject for another time.
It is.
But yeah, great choices there, guys. Fantastic. Great highlights.
Yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to a lot of those games coming out, and I wouldn't have known about some of them had we not talked about it. So it's always good to bring up some things that, like you say, they go under the radar. You don't know about them, and then it's people like us that can bring a crowd together and say, look, you know what?
This game. You should play this.
We're influencers of the future, man.
We know the future. No, we don't.
No, we don't. No, we're just making this shit up. Sorry, we're making this stuff up as we go along.
Yep, we are.
Bringing it in style.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. So
I'd like to do my joke. Sorry.
Go for you. Yes,
we got Beth's joke.
Right, Beth's joke.
My joke of the week.
Joke of the week.
All right. All right. Why did the Joker have to sleep with the lights off?
Don't know.
Because he was afraid of the Dark Knight.
Oh, wait.
More next week.
More next week. Oh yeah. Brilliant. Love it. Yeah. Okay. So I think we've covered everything today, haven't we? I think so. There's nothing else we wanted to add.
No.
So that is it for another week. Then these times they do go quick. I tell you what, it's amazing how much you can talk about in such a short span of time. Yep. I mean, we could probably go on all night, but
we probably could.
We could. I don't think anyone else could, but we could. As far as like anyone trying to stick with us, listening. But yeah, we are back again at 9 p.m. That's GMT. Now, I hope you remember to put your clocks back. Otherwise, you're still, we're on Tuesday now, so you should do. So the clock's back on for the weekend. Unless unless you're listening to this in the future. I mean, that day has already passed. But thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, the 3D Show. Thank you very much, Pizza Beth.
Thank you.
If you want to do some bits and pieces, like let us know where you are or what you're doing this week, or do you just want to now switch off?
I'm taking a break this week, so apart from tonight, I won't be streaming Thursday or Saturday. I'm taking a little break.
But you will be back with us next week.
I'll be back maybe next week. Maybe sometime in the morning, maybe sometime even, or maybe not at all.
Okay. Socials then. So that's 3D Show. That's on twitch.tv/the 3D Show. And Beth?
Twitch.tv/PeterBeth. And I'm not sure what I'll be doing this week. Just look out for me on Twitter. Twitter is PizzaBeth1, so follow me there, and you'll see when I go live. And yeah.
Okay. Great. All right, guys. That's me done as well for this week. We look forward to seeing you all again next Tuesday at 9. And don't forget, we are available, of course, on, I was going to say Spotify. I haven't got there yet. I need to sort out my RSS feeds.
That's our goal. That's our goal.
That's our goal anyway.
Yeah, that's
but
our
we
goal,
are
yeah.
we are on SoundCloud if you want to listen to us. Respectively, you can just find us on either of our channels. Over
link
on
down below on my channel.
and
So,
over on, you'll see the VOD will be available after this stream has ended. Also, the VOD will be uploaded loaded to my YouTube channel. And again, as I mentioned, we're on SoundCloud as well. So thank you very much for joining us. We will see you again next week. At the end of this stream, we are going to be playing some Back for Blood. So if anyone wants to join in for that. So once the stream ends, we'll continue streaming afterwards. So there'll be a break in the stream just for the sake of VODs. But yeah, thanks very much, guys. Take care. We will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. What's up?